I think it's a testament of how well you've been running it. I know it was something that I wanted to do right when we finished that conference on April 29th. I was like, hey, we need to figure out how to make an in-studio podcast, because one of the goals I have for your show as well is to make this the #1 podcast in Southeast Texas.
Where's my love,
What's up and what's happening, TPE fam? We're back with another episode of the Pivot Experience. I am more than excited today. We're doing something a little new. I have a in-studio guest today. The first time we did this, it went well, but I think we got a better go at it. Today, I've got in studio. We've got none other than the Michael Laidler here. First of all, before we jump into the interview, jump into the conversation rather, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart in terms of your participation in what we did on April 29th. That was our first leadership conference that we was able to put together. The pilot experience, I think we had a great turnout during that time. I just want to say thank you so much for your guidance, your wisdom, your input on what we did. I think what we were able to accomplish is the beginnings of something really real for Southeast Texas, for Beaumont, Texas. And I can't wait to do it again. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you for that. Second of all, thank you for being a guest on this show once again. Definitely something I don't take for granted. You might be the first repeat guest on this show. And so I think what we're doing is important. I think what we're doing is adding value to not only each other, but to our communities, to the people who get a chance to consume this content. And so I really do. I don't take it lightly when people say, yes, you came to the studio and you see the real. The cameras don't see the real, but you see the real around here. And I just appreciate your humility and just everything that you bring to the table. So thank you for that. And so just I guess if we want to kick this off, just kind of what were your thoughts of the conference? How did you feel? What went well? What you thought could have went better? Just let's have some candid conversation around those two things.
Okay. Yeah, for real, Alex. Thank you for having me again. Like you said, the fact that this is my second time on the show, I think it's a testament of how well you've been running it. I know it was something that I wanted to do right when we finished that conference on April 29th. I was like, hey, we need to figure out how to make an in-studio podcast, because one of the goals I have for your show as well is to make this the #1 podcast in Southeast Texas. And I believe that us being able to come into this environment in studio and be able to capture this audience here in Southeast Texas, I think it's going to be amazing, because while, like you said, the cameras don't see what we see, the fact that we're in your house making this work and you have all this tech in here, trust me, I've been to other places and some people don't even have a clue how to get this started. And the fact that you're at the ground level at this point already, it's amazing. Now, when we look at the conference itself, I have to say I was highly impressed with everything you did. I was actually talking to somebody on the phone earlier, and this is a true story. If I can remember one of the 10 people I talked to, I was like, man, I was with Alex. And, I was talking to Chris, our barber, that introduced us. And Chris, if you're watching, thank you for making this introduction. It's working out.
Facts.
Yeah. We done have 2 episodes. We done ran a leadership conference, and I was telling them that last year and even up to this year, I've probably spoken at 20 different conferences throughout the country. And what you were able to do on your very first conference was amazing. There's people out there that's getting paid full-time money right now to build conferences, and it's nowhere close to yours. The fact that you had your family involved, you had your son doing testimonies, you had your brother helping with social media, you created workbooks, you had your wife helping with all the organization and support. A lot of people don't have that. I see teams that don't have the kind of success that you had that day. So while you may think it's an honor to have me, it's an honor to be here with you, because I see the growth and I've seen some things. I'm like, I wish Alex was there. Because now I'm like, now when I go to conference, I have a higher expectation for them, because I'm like, hey, I got this guy. He's just forming a business. He's building up leadership trainings, and he already has it going. You got to step your game up.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So what I saw that day, just from that particular part, it was great to be part of. I can tell you, even my son, how we joked around how excited he was, and leading up to me speaking, I didn't think he was going to do anything else besides play on his iPad. because that's what kids at 9 years old typically do. And as soon as I got up there, he was so excited. He started recording. That recording, by the time I looked back at his iPad that day, it was 31 minutes. That he recorded. But he was excited. He even asked me about it. He was like, hey, Dad, how'd it go? Like, when are we going to do another one? So all that for me was a great experience. I know the people in the audience was great. I think you had a certain number, and I think you actually surpassed that number in attendance.
Yeah.
You did, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think genuinely we had a number, and then we candidly, transparently, me and you talked, and you was like, hey, man. Hey, man, how's it going? And I was like, well, it's all right. And I guess having the nervousness, never really doing this event, but also knowing yourself as the consumer going, well, you might buy tickets the day before, the couple of days leading up to. And so I with that in mind, I think we got past some of the clearly we was able to get the people in the room, and so yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's I actually led it with a question. I wanted to hear you kind of explain it. So no, but that was the thing though. Like you said, candidly speaking, we said, hey, worst case scenario, if it's just me and you, we were going to set the microphones up at the studio and go from there, because I was ready for that, because I knew no matter what, we were going to have a good time. Just based on what I see in you, just my interactions up to this point, I was confident. That's why I was like, hey, we've already done 2 things. Let's do this now, because I can see the growth. And I think the more exposure you have to this area, I think people will see it too. And they're just going to see you pass what your full-time job is. And they're going to say, hey, you're also creating leadership development for our community. Let's get involved. And I just want to be part of that journey, which I've been blessed to be part of that so far.
Sure.
So I'm excited. That's why I'm sitting right here with you today, because I want to pour more content, more information out to our audiences, just in a different avenue, because there's not a lot of people doing in-person podcasts. There's not. Over the last, what is this, May? Since January, I've probably done about 10 up to this point. All of them been virtual. So if we can learn how to transition this more locally, get more locals involved, I mean, I can see the sky being the limit for this podcast.
Well, I definitely appreciate that feedback. I guess honestly speaking, when I first started doing this podcast thing, I had a bunch of models that I was looking at, and I was attempting just to do it myself. Right? I get in front of the camera, start talking, and then after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you just kind of sound like you're rambling a little bit. And I said, man, I got to start talking to somebody. I feel like if I start bouncing the ideas off, having a conversation with another person, that would make the conversations flow a lot easier. And so then I started interviewing. And being honest, the virtual piece made it more comfortable for me. All I gotta do is I only gotta have one singular shot set up. I don't have to worry about the way the entryway looks. None of that. I can control just what's going on in that 16:9 or 9:16 rectangle of what's going on. And so the challenge and my wife has been challenging me. And then you said, hey, Let's get in there, and I said, all right, I guess so. I guess we'll go ahead and try to figure it out. And I think this is in my head, this is a rough draft of what I feel like it can be. To your point, I think once we get through this first few, I'll definitely, I'm not bashful when it comes down to, I guess, putting the resources where it needs to be. So if that's updating and upgrading some things, I definitely will do that. And because I do believe that we could have me and you and maybe one other person and 2 other people in here, and we can have a massive conversation around leadership, because I think for me, and I guess I never really talk about this, and we and you kind of just go back and forth. I don't talk about, and I need to do this more, the why I want to do this. Like go
ahead, what's your why? Go ahead.
Like, and I was thinking about this the other day, and it kind of boils down to 2 things, and I don't know where this is going to land with you, but I'm just going to say it.
Go ahead.
But it's like, I think a lot of people deal with 2 particular questions or 2 particular thoughts throughout their lives. They're great questions or great problems, and then there's grave problems. There we go. And so I think a lot of times people who typically consume this level of content, they're on the up and up, right? They're ascending, they're going up, they have great problems like, oh, well, we're getting busier, how do we scale? Or I'm acquiring more opportunity, I'm getting into better positions, how do I continue to sharpen that blade? But then there's I think a larger percentage of people who are dealing with grave problems, and that's, well, do they know where their next meal is coming from? Do they know how to how just to move in the workplace and how they understand the value work no matter what it is. And I think there's a lot of people that sit in that half or that hemisphere of the grave problems. And I think for me, and this is dated data because I just updated data, and I'm going to look up the updated data. But the last time I looked at a 2010 census for Beaumont, particularly the 03 zip code, the median income was in the neighborhood of like 25,000.
Wow.
So and that's the zip code that I grew up in. And so for me, when you talk about the issues that exist in our city in terms of the crime or the different results that we're producing academically, I think you got to turn number one to the economics, right? And so one of the driving forces and one of the driving things for me wanting to do this podcast at this capacity. Now I'm being real with you. I've got some things coming along that isn't on the value based. I am looking, this is a for-profit entity. This is not a nonprofit organization.
That's how you keep the lights on.
And so at a certain point, I am going to want to monetize this, but I'm never going to, I say never say never, but I'm going to do my best not to get away from like the daily doses or the podcast or just the stuff that I put out on social, because I think that's the stuff that somebody can pick up every single day. I don't care where you work at. You can work at any fast food restaurant, you can work at any retail space. If you start to absorb some of the stuff that I feel like myself, you, and any other people who are in this leadership conversation start to put out and apply it to where you are, you can start to make headway for yourself. Like, I'm a strong believer that I think, I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, and they were talking about just, making the best of where you are, making the best of the hand that you're dealt. It's like, I think a lot of times people look down on certain jobs or they look down on certain occupations, and they miss the opportunity to be able to grow and blossom right where they're at. I was at the event for Junior Achievement, and they asked me to come in and talk about interviewing for success.
So Junior Achievement, what for your audience, do they know what that is?
Okay, so Junior Achievement, and I'll say this, Junior Achievement number one is the reason why I work at Chick-fil-A 100%. If it wasn't for the executive director of Junior Achievement in 2002, me being a part of this program, I wouldn't have never met a Chick-fil-A. So my life might be totally different.
Right, yeah.
So number one, I am forever indebted to that organization, but that organization focuses on giving financial literacy tools to kids who are pre-K to 12th grade. So they put on a host, and a lot of people don't know this. And if you're out there, there's a lot of volunteer opportunities for you to get involved. I know a lot of people talk about wanting to help and make change. Junior Achievement, I feel like, is doing a lot of great things in our community to help kids understand about credit, to understand about entrepreneurship, to understand about just finance in general. Like, one of their like hallmark programs is Finance Park, where they partner with the district. They get they'll go in. Like this last year was at Paul Brown, which is Old Central. They set up stations, and each of the kids get a scenario. So like, hey, kid one might be, you're making $90,000 a year. You have this many kids. You have a wife, and then this person might be single, making $150,000. This person might be five-member family, making $50,000. And so you've got to be able to kind of just maneuver through these different stations to figure out how to best manage your money. So these kids are going through real simulation in the effect of how do they make their finances work. So Junior Achievement puts on a lot of different programs just like that to help bridge the gap in knowledge for children to understand money, basically. And so that program, and I don't exact. Oh, there we go. That program I was speaking at for a interview session. They was kind of talking about the importance of the interview, and those one of the teachers that were in the room kind of raised their hand and said, "Well, what do you tell a kid that says is just working at a fast food restaurant?" And then my response was, I said, well, and I told somebody this literally today, the same response. How many McDonald's are there in Beaumont or in the surrounding areas? There's a bunch of them. Do you realize how much money it takes to build one of those? Number one. Number two, McDonald's is the largest food entity in the world. Yep. Do you not think that you can go work there and learn something about business? Like, how are they able? Granted, sure, they got some areas to improve upon. We all do. Yeah.
There's no perfect business.
We all do.
Yeah.
But when I say, hey, the 16-year-old or the 18-year-old or 20-year-old, if you don't have anything else going on, don't frown upon that opportunity, because that will give you the building blocks of systems, consistency, sustainability. Like, I don't know how long McDonald's, they at least got to be at least 60 years, 70 years in existence. So they got to be doing something right to be able to still be in business that long. And not for nothing, they've been exposed in more ways than one. People, they were just talking about the chicken nugget process the other day on the radio, and guess what? I probably had some shortly thereafter. So it's just one of those things where I feel like that if you want to learn and be better, don't make the excuse of the situation that you're in, particularly if it's one of these chained businesses. There's a lot that you can learn and a lot that you can absorb in doing that. So I just feel like I want to be able to. And this might not be popular for me to say, and I'm sorry, I might be rambling.
Go.
But I take some objection to some of the things I see on social media that pushes people to believe they do this lifestyle marketing where, you know, they're in their Rolls Royce or they're in their Bentley, which is awesome for them, fantastic for them, and they talk about how many millionaires they've created. And it's like, well, the reality of it is, yes, we're all wanting to work towards that.
Correct.
But I think we forget about, hey, you got to make $100,000 first before you make $1 million. There's a lot of different benchmarks before you get to that million. And I think for me, I just want to try to help people understand you have to be a certain person. The worst thing we can do is come into a windfall of money because we ran a play that we saw on Instagram, but we don't know how to scale that.
Correct.
Like, okay, give me $10 million. Do I know exactly what to do with it? Probably not. I might have some idea, but I need to get around some people quickly to help me multiply that money before I squander it. So that's kind of my thing. I want to try to help people see the building blocks, the foundation and to me, the foundation of any great thing is leadership. Like anything you go to do, it doesn't matter if you're going to go open you're going to be have a car lot, if you're going to open your own retail designer store, whatever you're going to go do, leadership has to be the focal point. So that's kind of what my driver is, and I feel like I look around and I see a bunch of myself and a lot of children, like maybe people who just need steering, and not just kids, but adults too. Just, hey, if you increase your leadership capacity, do you not know what you could be doing around here? Instead of looking down on yourself, that's a lot more things that you can do. So that's kind of what my perspective is and my why. I don't know if I said that clearly enough, or concisely enough, but that's kind of in a sense what my why is.
Well, and that's why it shows you in your work. It shows us some of the stuff like we talked about earlier. The one conference that we've done was so next level. It's because of your why, because you want to make sure you're being that lead by example and you're showing what you're talking about. And I think a lot of us, that's what we want to do. We got to dig down deep and figure out what's driving us, what's making us who we are. Why do we do what we do? What's the path to get there? Because I'm in the same boat. I grew up in an area where I didn't have business acumen taught to me. I wasn't just given the keys to like a $10 million business. I've had to build. I've had to learn. I've had to get mentors. I've had to be a mentor to get to those points. So when you look at all of it, it always comes around down to leadership. And in leadership, what we know is that it's not one person. It's always a team of people. I think sometimes we think about just the leader, but that leader's not a leader without followers. Yep. One of the things John Maxwell talks about all the time is like, hey, if you're just a person walking by yourself, you're just walking by yourself. If you don't have nobody following behind you, you ain't a leader. And that comes with kind of putting it all together, saying, hey, who's on my team? What am I building towards? What's driving me? And I think kind of what we're talking about today and how we got to even this point is we identified our whys. We realized what's shaping us as people. And now we're taking that leadership role in our own lives. And now we're converting it to being out there in our society. And with the program you grew up with, you saw what it did for you. And that's why I wanted you to make sure you gave it a plug. I wanted you to express that because sometimes I'm not from this area. I wouldn't have known about that. I didn't know about that till I met you. And I was already in the area almost 4 years. No one just talked about it. But how many of our youth can benefit from that? How many of us can benefit just by being a part of it? Because we know we learn the most when we're involved. When we just read about it, or we watch TikTok videos or Instagram videos, while we want you to watch that, especially considering this show, we want you to watch our reels.
Yeah.
But if you're not actually physically doing it, you're not going to learn it. You're not going to be able to give back. So that's why it's important for people to understand where all this comes from, because without knowing, you're not going to be able to grow. And that's the hardest part.
Yeah. No, and I think that's you hit the nail on the head, man, because I feel like there's a lot of great things happening here in the city. It just needs more exposure. It needs to be, and I truly think we have more rock stars here than what we realize. But
absolutely,
I think we need a conduit to be able to let those people come together and flow through it. And I think kind of in my head, like what we're doing as a group, me and you and I, and we're just starting this. We're going to start bringing more people together. Correct. That's the kind of the idea. Like, so yeah, it was just me and you at the first conference. Hopefully we can get maybe 1 or 2 more people to tag along with us. Right. Yeah. Of course, they're going to help us, shoulder the load a little bit.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But as far as just that exposure, them to other people and us exposing each other to each other, I think it's going to just pay dividends into us trying to, live out what our whys are and what our passions are in the city. Like, I'm excited about the prospect of some of the people that I've kind of been talking to outside of me, you and me, that may be able to go to our next one, which our next one's already, the date's already locked down, the venue's already secure. We just need to, I want to start putting out some content around the last conference to get to, to showcase what we did at that conference, so other people can know what we're doing is real. What we're doing is it's more than just some friends showing up having a conversation. I think we maybe moved the needle and challenged some people at this last conference, because what was your feeling on it? I feel like some people, I don't want to say they were changed or converted and like that.
No, let's call it.
But I think people were convicted to move towards some change.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the event was only 2 hours, but I think it was an impactful 2 hours. I think sometimes we undervalue how good our information is. And what I saw, remember, I stood up there for at least 31 minutes based on what my son's iPad had. It was at least 31 minutes.
Yeah.
I saw the change in people's posture. And how do I know that? Well, my background's in law enforcement. I can read body language. I've done it for over 18 years. And I saw people kind of like that light bulb going off in their head saying, I didn't think about this. Or I wish I would have thought about this before. And now some of the things that they said to us afterwards, I was like, man, you kind of got us motivated. You got us inspired. You got us thinking about how to take our leadership, how to take our business to the next level. We had one person in there saying that she wanted to create $1 million business, but she didn't know how to do it. Now, I'm not going to say we told her every tool how to get there, but the one tool that we did provide was the hope that, it's possible, because before you get to $1 million, you have to get to 100,000.
Right.
If you don't start somewhere, you're not going to get there. But if you don't tell yourself you can do it, you're going to lose. Like, you have to convince yourself that you're going to win. You have to, because there's always going to be opposing forces that slow you down. And I think when we look at what we're doing right now, this is part of the process. We're opening up that door for others, saying, while you and I may not be perfect, hey, we're going to try. We're going to try to grow each other. We're going to try to grow the community around us, because we want to see people grow and develop. We've gotten to a point where people aren't at right now. I can tell you, there's not a lot of people with this setup right now. There's not a lot of people doing podcasts. I mean, guys, if y'all can see how this looks in here, there's probably, if Best Buy would come in here, you'd think you'd be in Best Buy. That's how much stuff's in here. We got microphones, cameras, lights everywhere. We got supercomputers, not supercomputers. I've never seen so much laptops in just a home office, but we're ahead of where we need to be, which is good, because that's how you set the road for someone else to get there. And like you said, there's a lot of good people here in Beaumont, Southeast Texas. Let's call it Lumberton, Vidor, Port Arthur, Silsbee, whatever other city you want to name in the area. They're here.
Yeah.
You don't have to go far. They just don't have the level of exposure of what we're doing right now. And the good part about it is that people that are watching, you want to say, hey, I want to share this with my friend. Not because we're just trying to promote Mike and Alex, but we're trying to promote the growth of others.
Yeah.
That's the point. We want to see people grow. I can tell you I don't have to share anything I have, but why keep it to myself?
Right.
Because someone taught me something.
Right.
Someone went and made a YouTube video for me to watch.
Right.
Someone wrote a book for me to read.
Yep.
Why can I not now do the same to give back to our community in that manner? I'm not as big into children's programs and kids programs as others, but I'm good at this.
Right.
I know my skill set.
Yep.
And I'm more than excited to do this. So what I saw from our conference was people realizing that they could be better.
Yeah.
I saw people realizing that life is stronger than what they thought it could be, because there were self-doubts. We heard that. You asked the question, and several people either said self-doubt or lack of confidence. Then I was actually surprised. I mean, I took notes. I had my iPhone out because that's why I touched on it during my presentation. I was like, this was them giving the answers. We weren't cueing them. We were proposing a question, and they were saying they had self-doubts, and some were families and friends, and we learned about them that day. It was like, well, if you're close to me and I have this kind of content and you're still having self-doubts, what more can I do? Like, how much more can I be effective? So when I look at what we're doing right now, once again, I think the conference definitely hit home with some people. I can see some of those same people coming to the next one.
Yeah.
Even if it's hearing the same content. I mean, we listen to the same music all the time.
Right.
I mean, there's 4 to 5 minute songs that we will listen to 1,000 times. There's words that people can recite. This one song that motivates them, inspires them, gets them excited. That's what we want from the conferences we have.
Yep.
We want people to continuously be reminded that they're great, that they can do anything that they put their mind to. And what we're going to do, we're going to provide strategies and tips. We're going to provide something that we've done to show them that it's possible. And I think that when it comes to changing people, I think the conferences are good for that, especially bringing it to this era, because we do have some stuff here. I haven't really seen a consistent flow of leadership growth myself. Not in this area, and I'm not saying I'm involved in everything, because I kind of stay away from most of the crowds, but I haven't seen it promoted.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it to where I'm like, oh man, we're having a conference next month. Oh, we have a conference in the summer. I haven't seen that. I know the fact that we don't have that consistently, this is the platform for it. There's obviously a path forward, and I travel around the country speaking about leadership. And trust me, people don't get enough of it, ever. So they're always just looking for a little bit more. But yeah, I think we did make some changes that day. I think that we were able to impact some lives. And I think going forward, some of them were very happy with what they saw. And I think that they definitely want to grow from us even more.
Yeah, no, I would say I just have to agree, man. And I think one of the cooler things, aside from some of the people that were in attendance, I had come to the realization the other day, very recently rather, it's like, I want to help my village. Like, I want to help the people who are closest to me. Like, you always have in your mind that you want to reach the masses and reach all these people. And really the thing you said the other day, and I think you've mentioned it already since we've been talking, is like, why don't you focus on being, Beaumont's #1 source for leadership, or Southeast Texas #1 podcast. And I was like, that makes sense. I'm trying to reach outside of my area of influence, or my immediate area of influence, to try to gain notoriety. Well, why don't you try to focus in your own area? Because I think that's where most of your impact's going to be anyway. And so I think definitely, like, just tapping it, and I think we will still hit other markets too, just because of the internet, right? The internet's going to allow you to touch more people. Yeah. But just really zoning into this area's needs, the people's needs here. Again, I get caught up in this idea of like, well, you work at Chick-fil-A, who wants to hear from you because of what the perception of it is. I adore it. I look up to it. I understand what we bring to the table from a leadership standpoint. I don't know if that is widely accepted if you don't know about the company or the brand itself. And so it's just getting out of your own way. Like people were saying about self-doubt in the room. I was one of those people that always would be like, I don't know. Yeah, I can't do that. Doing this 3 or 4 years ago, never.
Yeah, I know.
Never.
Yeah.
You notice, like, before we got started, I was sweating. I got my top, hadn't grabbed it. I got cool as a fan. We got the rolling. Oh, I feel good.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, this is becoming my element. Man, me and my wife recorded yesterday, or day before yesterday. And as soon as the mic turned on, I was like, microphone check 1 2. She's like, "What's that? Where do you get one of those from? Like the voice, the inflection, the speaking voice." It's just like, well, no, it's. I want to be clear. I want to be heard. I know I can mumble and ramble, but it's just getting comfortable doing this. And like the challenge of the conference, she the one we were laying down. Hey, why don't you do the event in X amount of weeks?
Yeah.
And I said, I've been reading UOU by Dr. Eric Thomas and getting into miracle territory. You just got to do it and put yourself there, and you'll step up and perform. And I said yes. And I felt like, I appreciate your kudos, because I felt like your feedback on the content that I was delivering was good for me. I think my wife, I love her to death, but sometimes I'm like, are you just saying that because it's me?
She seems like she's gonna keep it real for you at least. Yeah, no, she seems like she's gonna keep it real. I don't know about that. I don't think she's gonna. I don't think she's gonna be nice about it. If she says you didn't do good, you didn't do good.
Right.
Yeah.
And but still though, I think sometimes it's like, it's still out of the respect. Do you want to hurt your spouse's feelings and let them know that wasn't it? But you're right. She will tell me, that ain't it.
Because she's part of the team. That's why.
Yeah.
She wants to. If she knows that she just boosts you up. Right. You ain't gonna win.
Right.
You ain't gonna get better. So I think, at least from what I saw with Lindsay, just a short amount of time I met her, I think she's gonna be that person that's, if you're not doing right or if you're slacking, she's gonna say some choice words to you. Yeah. Whatever she knows that it takes, that based on you guys' marriage, and she's gonna get you motivated. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's part of the process. Right. Because you want that truth, you want that honesty, you want her to be able to support you, because this ain't easy. Right. Because we ain't gonna get phone calls from this right when it's published. I know that. Right. I know. I mean, it ain't like, right, hey man, we got a $10,000 contract for you just for speaking on this. We know that, but we know through the power of consistency, we're gonna see the growth. Yeah. And trust me, people are already. I mean, I've talked to some of the local people, and I don't talk to a lot of local people. And I was like, oh, Alex Seal, and they're like, oh yeah, he's starting to do that kind of that leadership, that business thing. I don't really know what he's doing, but that shows that people are paying attention. Yeah. But it takes that time and effort. And when you get down, that's where Lindsay's going to come in and say, hey, get your head out your butt. Get up there. Go get in that room and start recording. No, I don't know why you down here pouting. Yeah. I mean, go get upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you've kind of highlighted something, and I'm good with being transparent here. And this could be, I think, something that everybody can take something from. Correct. Because you mentioned that, people say, well, he's doing that leadership thing, and I think this speaks to me, maybe me not saying what my X, Y, and Z is, what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I think for any of those who are out there watching, you're gonna have to start saying your why often enough times, more than you might think you need to. Let me say that a little bit smoother. I'm gonna try to say that smoother. You're gonna have to say your why more often, because I feel like I did a manifesto video 6 months ago, kind of talking about why I'm doing this, and I thought that would be good enough. But I feel like, just with that feedback you just said, and that's how I've been feeling, I need to say my why more often. I need to articulate what I'm doing this for more often. And so definitely appreciate you saying that, even though you didn't mean it that way. Yeah. I know you didn't mean it that way, but I think and this is for anybody out there who's doing any level of business, your why has to be on the forefront, because I feel like the best brands have a compelling why, and people know what that why is. And so thank you for that.
Yeah, but when you're talking about the why is stronger than the money.
Yes.
The why is stronger than the failure. Yeah. And when you start to realize that, it makes all these failures and this money seem like nothing. And then that's why you get these companies that are starting to grow. Look at McDonald's. Ray Kroc, we talked about a little bit earlier. The reason why he was so successful is because he knew his why. It wasn't easy. Yeah. It wasn't like he was going to win. Let's say Phil Knight. We both like Jordans. We both like Nike. Yep. Phil Knight started in his apartment with shoe boxes literally in there. He was flying to other countries just to sell. That, how many times they told him no? But he had a purpose. And the more we tell ourselves and remind ourselves what our purpose is, I think that why drives us. it's kind of weird because I could tell you talked about a couple of years ago being able to be in this setting. Even me, before I started my leadership business, I didn't even know how to find a why. I had one. We all do. I just didn't know how to identify that why. And now since I know the why, it's easy. People are like, oh, why are you waking up at 4:30 in the morning recording videos or reach out to potential clients? Because I know why I'm doing it. Well, didn't you have a bad day? Yeah, but I know why I'm doing it. And the fact that I know why I'm doing it, it keeps pushing me. It keeps driving me. It makes it easy for me to be grinding. It makes me have work 8-10 hours a day and then go work on more stuff because I know that my purpose is to be better. My purpose is to build a legacy. My purpose is to keep going because somebody sacrificed for me to be here. Everybody that's watching this, whether you know it or not, somebody sacrificed for you to be here. Somebody sacrificed their time, whether it's one of your parents. A teacher sacrificed making more money at a university to teach you from being a bad kid, talking back in class, to getting through high school, still talking back. Someone sacrificed. These bus drivers taking kids to school every day. You don't think they're all of them are excited to drive a bus? No, but they're giving up something. They're sacrificing for you. So when you start to realize what people have given up for us to be here, that helps me out as well. Because I'm like, if they've given up all that, I can give up some time to create a podcast. I can give up some time to go speak. Now, I do get paid typically when I speak. And trust me, money's important. I know we don't want to talk about money a little bit too much, but in financial literacy, you got to save money. You have to make the money to save it. To pay the bills, you got to kind of have that money in place. So you at some point do have to monetize your craft, but knowing the why is going to make it easier because you're going to be told no. You might get fired. You may not get clients, but the more you push it, the more you drive. That's how you create what we've created up to this point.
Absolutely, Mike. I can't help but to agree with you on all of those different points. Like just that, I think a lot of people struggle with identifying what their why is. And I think more so, I don't think it's a struggle of them identifying what their why is. I think they more so struggle with not seeing their why manifested in the venue that they want to see it in.
Correct.
I think a lot of people think about their why should manifest in this perfect environment that they've dreamed up. Like for me, I didn't know my why was, investing in people. I mean, when I was going to high school, I was going to be a mechanical engineer. When I got into college, I went to Lamar University majoring in mechanical engineering. And so my thing is that I, through my affiliation with Chick-fil-A, learned that, I like business more because the immediate result of something, you think of something, implement, and then you create a result and you can see it. It's very tangible. Engineering, that it's not that tangible. You're kind of working in my mind, right? I could be wrong. Engineers don't kill me out there if I'm wrong. But
they'll like and subscribe just to hear more.
But for me, it's more so of a thing of I didn't know my why would make itself known in the venue of Chick-fil-A. Like I didn't know that I was working in this QSR environment, this quick service environment, will give me purpose. You know what I mean? And I think to me, it all goes down to something I'd say often is being married to the vision and flirting with the methods. Like being married to your why and then having the wherewithal or the understanding or patience to know that your why can manifest itself in any place you put yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be at this in Washington D.C. or in this high, whatever, however you want to look at it. You can live out your why right where you are. And I think that's where the gap is for some individuals is that they feel like they have to be somewhere else in this perfect environment for their why to really flourish. Of course you want to kind of avoid toxic places and toxic things, but your why can flourish wherever you are. I think.
Yeah, I would say pretty much outside of your home, any job environment you go to that's toxic, you choose to go there.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, they say, well, I need a job. There's a lot of jobs. I mean, what is our unemployment at 5% or something like that right now? That means that there's jobs out there. If you find your job is not what you want it to be, go get another one. Yeah. Don't keep being unhappy.
Right.
Because you want that green.
Right.
because that's just going to make you more unhappy.
Right.
Because you're going to say, well, I'm not getting paid enough.
Right.
Trust me, there's going to be someone that's going to hire you at some point to get what your skill set is worth.
Right.
Now, let's keep it real. Now, everybody's worth $500,000 a year. Right. I don't think I'm at that point yet. I think I'm going to get there, but I know there's certain things I have to do to touch that moment.
Right. Say that.
You know what I mean? I know I could be a $500,000 person, but I'm working towards it, and I can't be upset that I'm not getting that now because there's certain things that I'm learning I have to do. One example being on video podcasts. This is just one more avenue to show my speaking skills. This is one more avenue to show what I'm trying to do in this community. If I don't want to grow, if I don't want to get to $500,000, $1 million a year, I wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
But I understand there's certain things I have to do to get to that point. But once again, going back to the why, I think it's everything that drives us. I mean, it's what drives me. Because, I mean, trust me, we all got hit with a few obstacles in our life, and we run into a few brick walls, and it's like, man, that brick wall really hurt. Do I want to go towards it again? Right. But then I think about my why and some of the things I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go back towards it.
Yeah.
But this time I'm going to walk around it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, man, I think you're absolutely right, man. And I can't wait until we get a chance to come together again and put the next conference on. And I don't think I said this earlier. The next conference date, and this podcast definitely should be out before then, is September 2nd here in Beaumont, Texas. We'll release formally ticketing information and a flyer and all those different things. I think for sure me and Michael are going to be there, but I think we're adding on some more guests. I think you're working on somebody.
Yes,
I'm working on maybe a person or two to make this a bigger event. But no, we're looking forward to having a good time. I think I'm going to try to put a slight pin in this conversation, just given
absolutely
you feel the things that's going on around us.
But keep it real. I tell them, hey, as you're growing in a home studio, you got kids. Y'all got kids on this TV. Y'all don't be acting bougie and like y'all different. Y'all got kids that be yelling in the background too. Y'all remote workers. Y'all know y'all got people. Shoot, you never know who's coming in to come see it. So hey, this is part of the business. Hey, but this is what you want. Yeah, you know what I mean? This is how I have my son. I mean, my son do the same thing. I sent you a video on it this week. He was in there doing a whole public presentation. He said, Dad, hey, watch this and call me back. I was like, what do you mean watch and call this back?
Yeah.
So this is part of the business. This is what we want to do.
Right.
We want to let people know we're real.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you see people on TV, you're like, do they have anything wrong with them? Their tie is perfect. Their voice enunciation is perfect. No, they don't even sneeze or cough when they're on TV. We do it all because we want to show we're real. I mean, we want to show the support. This is what it's about.
Yeah, man. No, 100%, man. No, but Mike, man, again, I never call you Mike. Is that cool? I call you Mike.
You call me whatever you want on TV. At first, we'll just edit it out later.
But Michael, man, nothing but kudos to you for everything that you're doing with your business, your speaking business. You're all over the place. So before we get out of here, can you tell the folks where can they find you? Like how do we follow you? I think we went through this before.
Oh yeah,
but we're gonna do it again every single time. So Instagram, LinkedIn, where can they find you?
My best platform for professionalism and what I found is LinkedIn. So you go to LinkedIn, type in Michael Laidler. That's me. There's nobody else there that says Michael Laidler. You will find me. I have about 17,000 followers on there. You will find me. I post daily, except on maybe Saturdays or Sundays. Sometimes I skip those, but that's my favorite platform. I'm on IG. It's Michael Laidler. And then I'm doing a little bit with TikTok. I'm a little hesitant. Those reels are cool, but sometimes it throws me off. And then obviously my YouTube channel, I'm pushing extremely hard.
Yeah.
So anybody just type in Michael Laidler. At this point, I'm pretty confident that I will show up on the first page multiple times in Google. So if you don't know how to spell my name, or you're like, I forgot the what social media, go to Google, type Michael Laidler in, Laidler. You're going to find me. But those are my main areas. Those are my main platforms. If you're looking for any kind of leadership, self-awareness, mental wellness, obviously my primary background is law enforcement, but I have dabbled in multiple industries. I'm there for you because just like you, Alex, I want to walk alongside people and help them build their journey. I want to see them grow. I want to see them develop. And this is one of the best ways to do it. It's just being real and being next to success.
Yes, sir. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't catch that look out, save the date, pencil this in, September 2nd, 3:30 to 6. I'm adding more details every time we talk. every time we say it. But September the 2nd, a formal flyer, website, and all that. It might be out before this is out, so this might be a little dated before it even hits the press. But we're looking forward to having a great time. If you're looking to grow, if you're looking to grow your leadership and you want to get better, I would suggest, number one, following Michael Laidler. Find him on Instagram, find him on LinkedIn, find him on TikTok, seldomly, but he's there. Find him on YouTube for sure. Like, subscribe to his channel. Y'all know where y'all can find me. The Pivot Experience on Facebook, Alex Seal on Facebook, at Alex Seal at Alex_Seal, excuse me, on Instagram. Same thing on YouTube. We appreciate you guys' time today.
Absolutely, guys.
I think you're gonna see maybe this literal iteration between Michael and I, and then you're gonna see different iterations of what this looks like going in the future. Kind of like this in-home thing. I'm really comfortable with this. I probably would not have been comfortable 6-7 months ago when you just walking up here recording, but I like it, Braden. Appreciate that.
I'm just going like, yeah, even there.
Yeah. No. This is awesome,
I like
man.
It.
I love the direction that we're going. I love more so bringing everyone else along with us. You are guys watching us grow in real time,
and family.
Everybody.
Yeah.
My family, the our audience out there. Everything is happening in real time, and you guys are watching something happen different in our area. And at least our take on it. So thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, TPE family, peace.
Take